So that was a great thing. I also just wanted to wish everybody a happy week. It's been a little gray, and sometimes it's harder on gray days to stay positive, but I think it's really important to do so. Plus, rules are always changing with our new normal, and I think we feel a little bit detached, like we want to bring people into our homes, we want to do things with people, and now we're being told to stay away. So it's been a challenging week, I think, all around. But just to start, I always love to start by acknowledging the land upon which we stand, because even though times are challenging, I'm thankful for where I am. I'm thankful to be living here in Treaty 7, or Mochinstis. Mochinstis is where the Bow River and the Elbow River meet, and it also is known by its popular name, which is Calgary. But it is a gathering place, and there's a really special energy here that just brings people together. And it's really interesting how I'll be thinking of someone, and like literally 20 minutes later, they'll send me a message or they'll give me a call. And it's been working a lot like that. And I find a lot more people are starting to feel that, are starting to feel this sense of connection, even though, we're not in each other's space constantly. We're still feeling that sense of connection. And I think if we honor the land and we reconnect to the land, it makes it easier to reconnect with ourselves as well. And so I honor Treaty 7 territory. I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani. There are so many wonderful elders from those nations that I've learned so much from. So many wonderful people that I have made friends, and I consider them, my family now. And it's such a blessing to be able to be here in this time. So I think, all of those friends and family, and those leaders and those teachers within those tribes. I think it's really beautiful, just the work that we have been doing, and to see how far we've come, even in the last 20 years, even in the last decade, because I've been an activist for a long time, at least 25 years, more than that now, oh my gosh. But in that time, even though you're on the front lines and you feel like you're fighting this, losing battle, oftentimes when we look back at how far we've come, that's when we actually have that motivation to keep going and keep moving forward. And so I feel blessed to be surrounded by such strong leaders and strong teachers and, strong advocates and, warriors in their own way. And so I honor the Blackfoot Nations for bringing that forward. I also honor Tsutsuna. Tsutsuna, I have gone medicine picking out there. I've gone to sweats out there, and there's something really, really special when we're out there and you're connecting with the land. I really miss my time when I used to go and pick sweetgrass out there. I used to connect with the beaver when I was out there, and they have so much wisdom. You can just sit there and watch them work, and it almost does something to your mind where you're like, oh, okay, I have the motivation to do the things that I need to in my own life. And I definitely need to hang out with beavers because I've been procrastinating a lot lately. But I honor the Tsutsuna because they have kept those songs and stories alive. They're really, really close to Calgary, but they have still maintained their sense of nationhood and their sense of identity. So I honor that. I also honor the Stoney Nakoda, because they have an incredible rich tapestry of teachings, of songs, of stories. The elders and knowledge keepers and people that I know out there, they just humble me and they inspire me in so many ways. The land out there is just gorgeous. There's something really, really powerful about, being on your way when you're going to the mountains. As soon as you're passing through the Stoney Nakoda area, like through Morley, you just feel this sense of like, it's like this wave of relaxation, or this wave of just calm rushes over you, and you can smell it in the air too. So it's a blessing to be able to go sweat out there. Quite often I go sweat, not on Stoney itself, but actually on a different nation. So I honor the Chiniki, the Bearspaw, and of course Wesley Nations, just for all the work that they've done. Actually, they just won an award, which is pretty amazing, as a leader in disaster avoidance and response for their response to COVID. So I think that was like an internationally recognized award too. So it goes to show that, those nations, outside, when they're given the opportunity to do what they need to do, they get it done. And it's amazing. And so it's a blessing to live where I live, and I'm very thankful to be here. I am from Treaty 6 territory. I am Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis, but whenever I go back home, it does feel like home, but Calgary also feels my home too. It feels like I have work that needs to be done here. And I think every city, every area, every space, it holds a special energy. And so it's really about reconnecting to that energy. So when we do the land acknowledgement, it's about acknowledging not only those nations and those people, but it's also acknowledging, our connection to those people, our connection to those spaces, how we've all come here, how we can grow together and build a meaningful community and meaningful relationships together. And so, just to welcome everyone into the circle today, I would like to share the Cree Welcome Song. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little bit different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end, no one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the Hoop of Life. So it teaches us to honor each other for those differences. Again, I always say, because if everybody was exactly the same, the world would be incredibly boring and nothing would ever get done. It teaches us not to compare ourselves to other people because we are beautiful in our own way. This song means it is beautiful. It is beautiful to be with you. It is beautiful to share this moment. It is beautiful to connect and circle with you. It is beautiful to be part of our community because our community is beautiful. And it's that rich tapestry of differences that makes it beautiful. It's the opportunity to learn things that maybe you haven't thought of before and look at things in a different way, because that's truly what inspires us each and every day. If you stop learning, you stop growing. So we need to really, take that into account, and don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to be curious. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but do it in a respectful way. Do it, and when we're asked a question that maybe throws us off our game, instead of getting upset and thinking it's coming from a place of negativity, maybe just taking a breath and seeing, okay, is this a genuine question? I'm often faced with that when I teach. Some of the questions that come at me are quite ignorant, and sometimes they seem hurtful, but I have to take a breath, and I have to take my time, and I have to educate, because that's how we're going to change the world. If you cut someone off and shut someone down, you end that conversation, and they don't have the opportunity to change. They don't have an opportunity to learn from you, and you don't have an opportunity to learn from them. And so when we look at that circle, it's not about right or wrong. It's just about different. And it's not about, sometimes we don't agree 100%, but it's when we can come together and find those compromises and truly learn from each other. That's when our community is resilient. That's when we can grow and we can heal together in a meaningful way. And so Mia Sin honors that. I honor the Nataha family from Sturgeon Lake for singing this song, and for sharing this song, because for many generations we couldn't share our songs or stories or our language. It's been a tough road getting some of our language back. I'm trying to get my language back because I really miss it, and I feel like a kinship that is missing when I don't know my language. So I'm hoping to learn more of my language. I'm trying to focus on a couple words a week, and then hopefully that'll grow. But we'll see where I get. And so I honor the Nataha family for bringing this song forward and keeping this song alive, and just the resilience that they had to maintain these songs and stories. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. And I'm going to stand up to sing. Whoops. Miasin, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakote, niwagomagan, hota, homa, kitaskino, miasen, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakote, niwagomagan. Homa kita skino miasen miasen hasemina hasemina epetakote niwagomagan hota homa kita skino. Hi, and welcome to the circle today, everybody. So, I am, hi everybody! Everyone's saying Tansei. It's so neat. I figured out finally how when I'm restreaming I can actually see what people are saying, so hello! I'm really proud of this sash. So this is my Métis sash, which I actually received from Blackwood Elder, of all things. So Kelly Good Eagle had gifted me this. And he was just such a wonderful teacher, and he's just so gentle with his teachings, and he's so wonderful and does so much good work in the community. And so when he gifted me this, it was very humbling, and I was very, very thankful for that. So and so it gives me great pride when I wear my sashes, because it's about that interconnectivity of all of us. So when we look at a sash, you know, they're woven together. That's what gives them their strength, because one strand, it'll just tear apart. But because of the interwovenness of it and the patterns and the colors, it's that rich tapestry that makes it strong. And so it's a blessing. I know how to weave sashes. It's just sometimes I don't have enough time to do it or patience, because it's a very long process to make a sash like this. Well, this one is made on the loom, but to actually hand weave one like this, it would take probably at least 30, 40, 50 hours, if not more, depending on the patterns. So I understand how much work goes into them, so I'm very thankful, but I'm pretty sure these ones are machine woven, but still, it's such a wonderful blessing to get a gift. So I'm going to start with smudging today. So I have a lot of Sweetgrass here. So again, these are just my teachings. If they make sense to you, awesome. If they don't, that's okay. This is why we have oral traditions and oral storytelling. Whatever's meant for us, we'll remember. Whatever's not, doesn't take up space in our brain. We'll be okay. There won't be a test. So we have Sweetgrass here. The Sweetgrass has seen better days. So my cats have killed the cat grass that we have planted in the window for them. And so they have started to steal and eat my Sweetgrass, and I am not impressed. So I've been having to put it on high shelves or in bags or away from them, because they're troublemakers. But, you know, love them. I love those little teachers. So here we have Sweetgrass. Sweetgrass in my medicine wheel is in the east. So when we look at the medicine wheel, it's about balance. It's about, you know, honoring everything around us, honoring everything within us, and really asking for the things that we need in life and letting go of the things that we don't. But recognizing that we can't have too much of one thing, because, you know, if we only eat you know, candy, of course it's going to make us sick. You know, if we only drink water, well, we're going to need food to sustain us, so we need that balance. You know, we can't only be in our heads, because our hearts are important too. We can't only be in our physical body, because our spirits are important too, because it's all about that balance, and it's about recognizing what we need when we need it. And so Sweetgrass, in OG Cree traditions, my traditional teachings, is in the east. It's great for our mind. It's the children's medicine, or the sweetest medicine. In the east, that's where the grandfather sun rises every morning, so it's connected to the sun, it's connected to masculine energy, and it's a reminder that we're a balance of masculine and feminine energy. So we're not just one, we're both. And two-spirit people have that balance outwardly. They're able to see where those balances need to be. And so I'm very blessed and humbled to be a two-spirit woman, because even though I'm in this female body, I can still fill in for men's ceremonies, and for balanced and mixed ceremonies, which I think is a blessing. And I carry a lot of teachings in that way. But here we go. This is our lovely, lovely Sweetgrass. And when we look at the blades of Sweetgrass, there are 7 blades in every strand, which represent the 7 generations. They represent our 7 teachings. And the 7 years to renewal. So everything in life is in terms of sevens. So this is why our week is in sevens. But our whole bodies actually rejuvenate. 7 years, we're a totally new body than we were, the 7 years previous. And so it teaches us about that renewal process and about letting things go. It also teaches us about making good decisions. So whenever you're struggling with a decision, run some Sweetgrass. It'll really help you get that clarity and that focus. If you're in school and you're taking a test, smudge beforehand with Sweetgrass, because it will really help you focus your mind. And yeah, even my kids my boys have autism, on days when they are kind of like all over the place and they really need to just calm their minds, we'll smudge with Sweetgrass and they'll have way better days at school. My eldest son now, he's doing homeschooling because he's going to U of C. He just smudges before exams or when he's struggling with code because he's taking software engineering. But it's pretty amazing. So this is Sweetgrass. And it smells so good. No wonder the cats love it. In the south, we have cedar. And cedar is our physical body. It's our connection to, grounding into Mother Earth. And it reminds us to always give something back before we take, because we need that balance, that reciprocal relationship that we have, that cycle that we have with nature. We're part of nature. We're not above it or below it. We're part of it. And so the cedar reminds us of that. It reminds us of that relationship that we have, because when we exhale, it inhales and vice versa. So we need each other to cycle that air. And so it's a blessing to be able to use cedar, because it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and it's got an antihistamine in it. It's got a numbing agent. So when my throat's sore, I drink it. I'll probably have some tonight. It's whenever the weather changes, especially those Chinooks, my throat gets a little scratchy. So I need to get some cedar tea tonight. But it's just really wonderful. It doesn't taste very good, so I usually put a lot of honey in it. But, it tastes awful, but it works, like Buckley's. So that is cedar. That's honoring our adolescence as well. Here I have a lot of different kinds of sage, but I'm not going to pull them all out because that's more when I go in depth with my teachings. But this is... Oh, it smells so good. This is buffalo sage. It's also known as buffalo grass because sage is funny. It's kind of related to the fern. It's kind of related to grass. It's related to a few different things, but there's sage everywhere on the planet. So I'm going to just pull the leaves off and scrunch them. I'm going to be smudging with sage today. And I never throw these guys away. So we never throw anything away. We always use everything. And so what I do is in the spring, after I've collected all of these lovely little sticks, I actually put them out with a bunch of birdseed on my table, and the birds actually come and take them for their nests because they don't rot, they don't mold or mildew or anything like that, like some other sticks. And so the birds love them, and they're just like the perfect size to get in there. So the birds absolutely love them. I did an art thing where I actually colored with natural vegetable dyes a whole bunch of sage stems, and I wove them together, but then when they were done I had nothing to do, so I just kind of broke them apart and I left them outside, and the birds did take them because they were dyed with natural dye. And what was hilarious is as I was walking through the neighborhood, occasionally you'd look up and you'd see like punches of like pink and purple and teal in the trees. It was pretty amazing. And so let's pull that off here. Sage is in the west. That's water. It's considered the women's medicine. It's our heart medicine because our emotions are liquid. This is why when we get upset, we cry. We leak from our face because that's how powerful our emotions are. They have to come out somehow. And they remind us not to deny them, because then they're going to build up and build up and build up, and then they're going to come out eventually. It also just teaches us to honor them and let them flow, because without our emotions we wouldn't be here. It's our connection to family, it's our connection to friends and community. Our heart medicine is important, and so it's just as important as our mind medicine. And it smells so good. As soon as you scrunch it and then roll it, it unleashes the oils in it, and it smells so delicious. And whoop, I got sage at my nose. Okay. So when I use sage, it's or when you just need to release emotional stuff. And I think many of us are healers, our teachers, our parents, and sometimes we forget to fill up our own cup. So we're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and sometimes we forget we need to replenish ourselves too so we don't burn out. And Sage is that reminder. It gives us a moment to just sit and honor ourselves and honor the day and honor our connection to community. But it's that rejuvenator for our emotions, and it helps us to let out our emotions. This is why we burn it when we do tear ceremonies, because sometimes you just gotta cry. Crying is so healing, and when we deny ourselves that, we're denying ourselves the ability to like let go of those emotions, negative emotions especially. So let it go. You know, that Frozen song is totally true. And then the last medicine that we have, this is tobacco. Usually I have my tobacco wrapped, but I've been teaching a lot, so I've kind of kept it out so that I can show it. So tobacco is a spirit medicine. So whereas cedar, you can use it for pretty much everything, tobacco is a spirit medicine, so it's symbolic medicine. So we gift it to each other to say thank you from our spirit to somebody else's spirit, whether it be to a drummer, knowledge keeper, elder, you know, a teacher of some sort. It's to say thank you for those teachings, for keeping those teachings alive, and for being able to share them with such grace and humility. But also it's, you know, to ask permission for things. Sometimes you gift tobacco to ask permission, or when you're asking somebody to do something like a favor or create something for you, it's more binding than any legal contract. It's a spiritual contract. You can't break those. So when we burn it, especially in a pipe ceremony, we're not actually like breathing it in because it's not meant for us. It's a spirit medicine. So you'll puff on it and blow it down your body to smudge, or blow it in your hand to smudge, but you won't actually breathe it in because it's not meant for us. This is why it makes people sick. But also when we go sage picking or sweetgrass picking, usually we'll bring tobacco with us and we'll sprinkle the tobacco. In Kree, we sprinkle the tobacco and we let the wind take it to the earth. In Blackfoot, you take the tobacco and you put it on the ground and you rub it in so Mother Earth knows it's for her. And those are just the same, but slightly different ways of slightly different delivery systems. But in turn, we're always giving tobacco back. Tobacco is a sacred plant because it actually helps plants grow back faster. Not only that, but it has enzymes in it, which act almost like a pesticide. So I tend to put some in my garden. I forgot to put it in my garden this year, and my plants didn't grow near as good as they did the year before. So needless to say, I'm getting my garden started early this year, and I'm putting tons of tobacco in it so that I have awesome, awesome plants. Also, I'm gonna have to wrap things because we had a squirrel issue this year. That's where most of the things went, especially the seeds. But we're gonna be smudging. And there's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. I'm only smudging with sage because sage being the women's medicine. In Kree, we tend to smudge with sage a lot more, whereas in Blackfoot, they tend to smudge with sweetgrass a lot more. And like I said, it's not right or wrong. It's just different. It's just different ways of looking at things and different medicines that you use depending. So when we look at the smudge bowl, all four directions are in the smudge bowl. The shell itself is water. When we put the medicine in, no matter what the medicine is, no matter which direction it's from, as soon as it goes in the bowl, it's earth. When we light it on fire, it's fire. And then, of course, when we have that smoke going up, it's connected to the air, which is our connection to spirit, because you can't see the air, but you know it's there because you breathe, and you can't see spirit, but you know it's there because it's within each and every one of us. And there we go. And there's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. And I've already taken my earrings off. Actually, no, I totally forgot to put them on before I started the camera. But yeah, you'll take your jewelry off because metal holds energy, and you know, you want to let go of that energy. I also always use like a match, or if you don't have a match and you only have a lighter, you can light one of your stems and then light the sage, but you don't actually want to put the butane right on there. It just dishonors the medicine, and you want to make sure that it's lit in a good way, in an intentional way. And so, I'm gonna put this over here. So there's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you, but you never want to blow on it. You always want to fan it with your hand or a feather. Like I said, I have cats, so feathers do not last. But when you blow on it, your breath is your life, and your life is precious, and you don't want to waste that for anything. Oh, hello, my sister. I see my sister Stephanie thinking about you today. So the first thing I do is I smudge my hands to get rid of anything that I'm carrying. Then I bring it over my body 4 times to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel in my body. I smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person and everything that crosses my path, so I can be open-minded and not rigid with my thinking, but flexible. Smudge my ears so I can hear all of the messages Creator sends me. I'm very thankful for all of the teachings that come through me and to me. Very thankful for my hearing, and also to remind myself that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Smudge my eyes so I can see clearly and see all the beauty that surrounds me, so I can see all of the wonderful things that Creator has made and honor them in a good way. I'm very thankful for my vision. Smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. I smudge my mouth so I can speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit to mankind. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. I'm going to smudge my throat. I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless. Also, my throat's been cracking a lot. It's because my voice is getting mature. Smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air. I always have a hard time with my asthma this time of year. I smudge my stomach so all the food that I eat today will nourish my body. I smudge my heart so I can remember to be kind and considerate, show compassion and unconditional love to all those people on my path, my friends, my family, those I have yet to meet, but also to be gentle and show love to myself, unconditional love to myself. Smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. Even though I carry 2 spirit teachings, I'm still very gifted to have a healthy body. I smudge my shoulders and my back to carry all of the responsibilities that I have been gifted by Creator. Smudge my arms and my hands so I can continue to do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I smudge my legs so I can walk this red road in a good way. And I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her and honoring her with every step. And then if there's anywhere else in your body that you need a little extra love, so my shoulder's been bugging me, so I'm going to just smudge my shoulder and the middle back. I always smudge my hips because of the multiple hip surgeries I've had. And unfortunately, one of my hips has started to pop in and out of joint again, so that probably means more surgery, which I'm not looking forward to. And then if there's anyone that you want to send love and appreciation to, maybe you want to repair a relationship with them, maybe they're just in your heart and your mind, and you want to send them that love, and you want to send them healing, you want to repair something, just hold them in your heart and smudge your heart and send them that love and appreciation. If there is someone around you who is sick, you can send them that healing, that love. If they're close to passing, so they pass gently and in a good way. And then when you're all done, you say hi or miigwech, or thank you, or merci, or grazie, or sheshie, or dankeschön, however you say thank you in your language. And then you're done. Whew. And so I actually have my other drum because I didn't think I would bring the other one out of the car. So I actually have a really cool story about this drum. So this drum, it's been with me for a long time. It was much bigger before. Honestly, I don't know why I had such a big drum before. So it was like this much bigger before. It was crazy, and it was like really thick. But when I was in the hospital for my first surgery, it was in my room, and when I went under, my mom was at home and she heard this really loud bang, and then she ran into my room and she was looking to see like what was going on, what happened, did something fall? And then she pulled the drum out of the bag and she saw this slice, this perfectly aligned slice out of the drum, and she was like, what it's that, like, what happened? Because these drums are really sturdy. This is mousse, it doesn't tear. And so she brought it to me when I was kind of coming to in the hospital, and she's like, look what happened to your drum. And I was like, that is the weirdest thing, because the slash on it perfectly matched the slash on my leg from the surgery. So that's how interconnected I was to this drum. But it was also time for this drum to kind of move forward and change, just like it was time for me to move forward and change and heal. And so I was able to make this drum with it, and also another smaller drum, which a friend of mine ended up getting. And the smaller drum has a little rabbit on it, and she's like a little rabbit. She's always bouncing around, but it was also a way to just tell her, like, sometimes you gotta calm down. Sometimes you just gotta go into the den and chill, and, you know, lay that good foundation. So it has a very special meaning to me. I think all my drums have a special meaning to me. They all have come from different parts of my life. They've all come from different parts of my being. They're my babies. Even ones that, you know, I've made a whole bunch in one night, they all have a story. And when I'm making drums, there's a point when sometimes the lacing keeps tearing and tearing and tearing and just will not go, and it's because I'm not meant to make that style. And so I'll switch gears and I'll ask the drum, what do you want to be? And then it'll tell me, and then I will make that, and it's perfect. And so sometimes it reminds me to be humble and to really listen, to be mindful, and to listen to all of the messages that not only Creator sends me, but the highs, whatever you're working with. Sometimes your ancestors speak through you when you're trying to do things and trying to make things. You can call it your intuition sometimes, which is pretty much your ancestors going, don't do that. And your intuition is never wrong. But it's that constant reminder, like, there are people, there are beings, there's energy around you if you know what to listen and look for. And so I'm very thankful whenever I look at this drum, because it reminds me of that. It reminds me, you know, that I have gone through a lot, and I have faced all of those challenges with grace and with humility and with joy. Because I mean, come on, if you're not going to be joyful, you're going to cry or be miserable, and that's not fun. So it's reminded me just to keep a positive attitude, because I can get through anything as long as I do. So I'm actually going to share the Thunderbird song, because I was thinking a lot about that when I was thinking about intuition, because it always sparks that sense of intuition within me. But the Thunderbird is that symbol of destiny, or it's kind of like, you know, that thing pushing you forward, that path laid out ahead of you. And it reminds us, like, we have a choice. We can go on the easy path, or we can go on the hard path. We're going to always get where we need to be, but we have to learn those lessons along the way. Do we want to learn them gently, or do we want to learn them hardcore? And that's our choice. If we don't listen to our intuition, we tend to get into, you know, pretty nasty situations, and we don't have that opportunity to really correct course until we go through it. And sometimes the Thunderbird will see us making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and make those learnings harder and harder and harder, until finally it just gets fed up and kicks us on the butt and puts us on the path we're supposed to be on. And those butt kickings are not gentle. With me, that butt kicking was the accident that I was in, because I started to go on the right path, but then I was like, oh no, it can't be that easy. It can't be where I need to be. Like, I don't know. I think we're in a society where we think we have to be miserable to go to work. And I don't think that's right. We should actually enjoy our jobs, and we should actually be passionate about what we're doing, and really share and honor our gifts and our path. But I was almost like doubting that, and then I was hit by a truck. And so after you get hit by a truck, you have no fear. But that truck, it changed my life completely. So not only did it suck to get hit by a truck, and I've had to have 4 hip surgeries, but it put me on the path that I needed to be on. It reminded me what was important, and it also told me that I could do anything that I put my mind to. If it wasn't for that accident, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't be here sharing these wonderful teachings. I wouldn't be, you know, going to ceremonies and carrying ceremonies the way that I am. I wouldn't have been making drums to the extent that I was. I had made drums before, but not to the extent that I am now. And I wouldn't have met so many amazing people on my path. I wouldn't have been doing the good work that I'm doing, had it not been for that accident. So sometimes the worst things can happen for the best reasons. And that's truly what the Thunderbird teaches us. It teaches us that sometimes bad stuff happens, but you got to learn from it and move forward, because that's truly what makes us stronger. It's like when the Thunderbird burns a forest. It's for rebirth, it's for rejuvenation, it's so that new life can grow. And yes, it seems like something really awful and terrible, but it's for a good reason. It's for that continuation, because nothing can last forever. And it's that reminder, don't get stuck, don't get stagnant, or else that Thunderbird will push you. And so this is the Anishinaabe Thunderbird song. The next one I wanted to share, this has been in my head all day today, is the water song. I realized I haven't shared it in a really long time, and I'm like, it's a pretty great song. So when I first learned it, I thought it was called the rain song, because that kind of goes with my name. So my spirit name is She Who Dances and Sings with Spirits in a Storm, or my nickname has always been Stormy or Storm Song, or occasionally Storm Shadow Song, but I've always had this affinity, and my mushroom had named me that because whenever there was a storm outside, I would be singing and I would be wiggling around in my crib when I was just a baby. And then as I got older, we lived in Edmonton, under these really wretched power lines. So I think anybody who grew up in Edmonton knows exactly like some of those areas that are just like nothing but power lines. And during an electric storm, those power lines are like frightening, because that's where all of the lighting just loves to dance. And I loved that as a kid. I thought that was amazing. And so whenever the storm was there, I would run out and I would be dancing and singing in the rain. And my mushroom would just laugh, and my mom would be like, get inside, get away from those power lines, you're gonna die. So, but it never bothered me. I knew I was protected, and I knew that I had my ancestors around me when those storms were there. And even the storms of life, I always felt like connected, and I could hear the ancestors talking to me and through me. And so it made sense. That name made sense to me. And so this song, when I first heard it, I thought it was the rain song, because I could hear the rain coming down, and the wind and the lightning and the thunder and all of those wonderful things. And then I went to a family reunion, and I was like, the rain song. And I was talking to my cousins, and I sang a little bit, and they're like, it's not the rain song. And then my one cousin, she's like, that's the river song. It's like, excuse me? She's like, it's the river song. You can hear the river. So you can hear going down the river in a canoe, and it gets faster and faster and faster, and you hit rapids, and you hit a huge waterfall at the end. And I was like, no, like, it's the rain song. She's like, no, it's the river song. And then my other cousin, who learned it when she was living out in BC, was like, no, it's the ocean song. Can't you hear that? Like, you can hear the ocean rocking back and forth and getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and then the waves crashing. And so we're sitting there arguing as to what the song is and what the history of the song is. And then my Auntie Frida comes up behind us and just looks at us and goes, what's wrong with you girls? It's the water song. And then we were like, oh, okay, no, we're all right. So, so yes, it's the water song. So you can hear all of those different forms of water in it. You can hear the rain, you can hear the river, you can hear, those beautiful ocean waves crashing, but it just depends on what you need, and it depends on how you honor water in your own life. It teaches us that water is really important. This song always makes me thirsty. Mm. But it teaches us how our emotions are important as well, because our emotions are water. And sometimes our emotions are really, really strong, and sometimes they're more subdued. Sometimes we're really, really happy, and sometimes we're just content. Sometimes things are really, really difficult. But we know that as we get through all of those challenges, all those trials and tribulations, we come out on the other side better and stronger and more healed. And that's truly what this song represents. It's that honoring of, that coming and going, and that strength that we have within our emotions, but also that ability to let go and to rejuvenate and rebuild after really, really strong storms. Sometimes you will have those forest fires. Sometimes you will have, those trees blown over and crazy things happening, but that gives other life a chance to renew and be reborn. And when we look at the river, there are certain types of plants that only grow where it's fast. There's certain types of plants that only grow where it's slow. There's certain types of fish that can only grow where it's slow, and others that grow only when it's fast. And in the ocean, it needs to churn constantly. It has to have that ebb and flow to keep the oxygen flowing for all of the plants and the underwater animals and our, our swimming friends and our swimming family. And so it's that ability to just renew itself on a constant basis, and those waves are important, and they're imperative to do what we do. And so that's what this song honors. It honors all of those forms of water. It honors the cycles that water has and the cycles that we have within ourselves, within our lives, and within our own emotions. And so this is the water song. And it's pretty easy to pick up on. So the words are wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya day. And then the second part is wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Please feel free to learn. These are important songs. These are important to share. And so this is the water song. Oh, sorry. We start slow and then we go faster. Just like that river, or the storm, or the ocean. Wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya do ya day, wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya do ya day, wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya do ya day, wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya do ya day, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishita do ya do ya do ya, wishita do ya day, wishita do ya wishita do ya day, wishita do ya wishita do ya day, wishita do ya wishita do ya day, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishatanea hey ya hey ya, wishatanea hey ya hey, wishatanea Wishita do ya day. Wishita do ya Wishita do ya day. Ah! That's such a fun song. And again, it does make me, oh, baby loves this song. It's a good song. Because I was thinking of you, Stephanie, when I was thinking of this song this week. I'm gonna share Kitsikakaman, which is the Blackfoot I Love You song. It's the only Blackfoot song I know. I know I need to learn more because we're in Blackfoot territory, and so it's always a blessing when people share Blackfoot songs with me, but I can never remember them. And it's the funniest thing. I think it's I can remember Anishinaabe songs. I can remember Cree songs. I can remember Mohawk and Apache and, Cherokee songs easy. But I can never remember Blackfoot songs except for this one. I think originally it was shared with Olivia Tailfeathers, who had shared it. And I learned it also from Stephanie and also from my friend Sandra. And I'm so very thankful and humbled that they're in my life, and that, in spite of everything that they've been through, they are the most strong and beautiful and inspiring warrior women I've ever met. And so I'm very humbled to be able to share this song. And so the song is Gitsikakaman, and when I sing it to everyone. And then I sing it to Mother Earth, which is Na'a. And then I sing it to where I live, Mohinstis, because I love living here. And then I sing it to everyone again to close. We always sing it, everything in 4. 4 is very important. And so this is Kitsikakaman. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman. Way-ah-way-yo, way-ah-way-yo, way-ah-way-yo. Kitsikakaman, Kitsikakaman, na-ah, Kitsikakaman, na-ah, Kitsikakaman, na-ah, Kitsikakaman. Way-ah-way-yo, 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 Kitsikakaman. Kitsikakaman, mochinstis, Kitsikakaman, mochinstis, Kitsikakaman, mochinstis, Kitsikakaman. Way-ah-way-yo, 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 Kitsikakaman. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman, everyone. Kitsikakaman. Way-ah-way-yo, 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 Kitsikakaman. So speaking of strong women, I want to sing this song to honor you, Steph, and all of the strong women who are sitting there and they're raising beautiful children. They're showing them unconditional love, and they're showing them the traditional ways of knowing and being, because that's truly where the healing has come from. It's come from reconnecting with our culture and reconnecting with who we are and our ancestors and being proud of who we are, and instilling that sense of pride and that sense of the gifts that we have as Indigenous people, to be able to share, and the songs and the stories and the language and the regalia. All of those things really are inspiring, and I know I missed a lot of that growing up. The only time I ever got any exposure to that was with my great grandfather, my mushum, And so he would take me walking, and he would show me the medicines, and we would share songs and stories, and we would smudge together. And then I would come home, and my kokum would be really upset that I smelled like smudge, because of course I looked white, so why couldn't I just pretend to be white? And that was her thing. But then I was singing with Tom Jackson, and she was so excited. And the first time I'd ever heard her stand up and say, "That's my granddaughter. We're Native. I'm so proud to be Cree," and it brought tears to my eyes. I broke down and I cried when I was on stage, because I'd never heard her say that before, that she was not only proud, but admit that we were Cree, and it was such a blessing. And so I think sometimes it's those generations that we have to instill with that pride again, with that sense of ownership and that sense of belonging and that reconnection to culture. But this song honors all of those strong women that are creating that unconditional love and healing those wounds that were left by residential school, or in the States, by they called them boarding schools, but they were pretty much the same thing. So this song, it is from the States, is from Joan Henry, who's a Arapaho Cherokee. This is called the Women's Honor Song. And so I honor her when I sing this as well, because it's just such a blessing to be able to sing it. And in it, women often, you feel that pulse when you sing it. That's that pulse of that Mother Earth, everything in Mother Earth, and everything in nature has a pulse. But when we sing it, women tend to bounce with it. You tend to feel it in your body. Just like when we pick up a baby and we're holding it and we're trying to calm it, we always have this little bounce going on. It's like that pulse, that rhythm that totally nurtures us, and that's all around us. And so this is the Women's Honor Song, Anageya. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah weha ah ah ah. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah weha ah ah ah. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, we high, we high, we high we are. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah we are ah ah ah. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are. Ah ah ah. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah we are ah ah ah. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are. Ah ah ah. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah we are ah ah ah. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are. Ah ah ah. Anageya, weha weha, weha no way, weha weha we, ah we are ah ah ah. So I'm gonna sing one last song before I take off. Wow, that went fast today. I was thinking a lot about just interconnection, and it's amazing how when we think of someone, we should just give them a call because they're probably thinking of us too. It's been happening a lot lately. So just trust that. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut, and reconnect with people, even if you haven't, heard from them in a long time, because it's important. It's really, really important to do that. So just to send everybody off on a good way, I want to share this song. I learned this from my elder, who was a two-spirit elder, Sharon, and this is a Anishinaabe song. I've also heard it called a Mohawk song, so I'm not sure if it's an Anishinaabe traveling song or a Mohawk traveling song. But it is a good way to just put you on your path, and it reminds us about, we might go off into the world, but we always end up coming home, and it's about coming home to ourselves, coming home to our ancestors, coming home to our circle, to each other, to our friends, who sometimes we adopt them as family. I know that I have such strong friendships, and I call them my sisters, because they feel like my sisters in spirit. And so I'm very humbled and thankful for all of those women who, they are my home, and we have worked together extensively on so many different things to make the community a better place. But this song has really, when it came back into my life, I was like, oh my gosh, it hit me in a way to just make me feel humbled and make me feel very grateful for the path that I'm on. And it teaches us that our path will lead us where we need it to. And sometimes if it veers off course, that's okay, because we have different things that we can learn. We have different people that we can meet. And it teaches us not to shut ourselves down to possibility, but also to remember, no matter how far we wander, we're always welcome back home. And so this is the Anishinaabe traveling song. And I just wanted to hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. And yeah, it's just been really wonderful to connect in smaller groups, because I think I was so used to connecting in really, really large groups that sense of intimacy was almost gone, that sense of like connection, and just reach out, even if it's just like a quick 10-minute Zoom call. Every Wednesday I've actually booked my calendar so that I can talk to my auntie, who's in extended care. Her nurses have figured out Zoom, so it's exciting. I get to talk to my auntie, even though I can't physically be there. I can still be there and hear her stories and hear her voice, and she can hear ours. And so it's a blessing. But no matter where your path leads, just remember the important people on it, and don't forget to check in. So, hi, this is the Anishinaabe traveling song. Wait, that was wrong. Everyone, and thank you again, hi, for joining me again this week. It was really wonderful to see a couple faces, and because I see faces when people comment, it's really nice. Hope you have a beautiful, wonderful week, and I will see you next Tuesday, if I don't see you beforehand. Miigwech, everyone, hi. Bye. And now I don't know how to stop this. Oh, here we go. Okay, bye.